Hi, good afternoon. I'm just speaking to you just after hearing the budget speech of the interim finance minister. As we all know, this was an interim budget, a vote on account because of the upcoming elections. So naturally, there were constraints as to how the finance minister could have addressed all the things. The second thing is the main purpose of this budget, if you look at it from the government's perspective, was how to get traction with the vote bank. From the market's perspective, the budget's perspective, they would like to see a continuity factor of the government, which means how does the budget help the government get back votes, which the midterm elections showed that they had lost some traction. That's the way the market would rate the budget. And from a people perspective, from the actual electorate, right, they were looking for basically giveaways, because the other governments which had come to power post the midterm elections were all doing giveaways like farm loan waivers. So operating within the constraints of these and the goals, I would say that the finance minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, the interim finance minister, has done a wonderful job in balancing all those needs, and I think he has succeeded in a major way in achieving his goal, which is to get back some traction with the vote bank. So I would rate this budget at 9.5 out of 10. And I think the current way the markets are responding, it clearly is in alignment with that thought process, because the BJP's 3-4 key vote banks, the rural India has been given a universal basic income, the unorganized poor have been given a pension scheme, and as well as the taxpayers, the middle class, up to 5 lakhs, nobody needs to pay any tax. So I think that if you look at the addressing a large masses of the audience, they have succeeded in creating a positive euphoria, right? Because a lot of people are looking at the fiscal deficit saying it's a 3.4 instead of 3.2. I think given that it's a vote of account, these are less of importance. And even if you look at the international participants, FIIs, I would say that while they will look at the fiscal deficit and say, oh, they have not reduced it as promised, the fact is that ultimately they will also look at the continuity factor, because the Modi government over the last 4 years has done lots of stuff on infrastructure and all that, and while the budget itself was a report card of sorts in highlighting those features, the fact is even foreigners are probably looking at a continuity of the government. So the actions which have been done on infrastructure from the reforms funds in the last 4 or 5 years, can we continue the next 4 to 5 years? So I would expect FIS to also give a thumbs up to the budget, and you should see incremental flows in a slowing advanced country situation. I would say, and within the emerging market pool, India should still stand to get a higher allocation, and I would expect them to come and prop up the market. Coming to the fact of the sectors which the budget has focused on, clearly with the rise in the incomes of people through tax cuts, through rural giveaways that the budget has done, the consumption sector would be the one which would benefit. So this would be both at the very low end, the FMCG products, but at the taxation bracket up to 5 lakhs, people's incomes as they go up, they will be encouraged to take larger EMIs to buy larger refrigerators, larger air conditioners, bigger houses. And the real estate sector also on the periphery at a lot of places has been given a lot of boost through capital gains, through second houses and all of that. So I think if you ask me for the two major beneficiaries, I think a continuance of the consumption story, the valuations in consumption have been high, but I think this, with all these support, that valuation now looked more reasonable. Auto sector, which had seen a very bad last 1 year in terms of the index, would see a bounce back in the coming months. And the third and the most important sector here, which should benefit from this, is the rural income, because in the rural income, then all rural oriented stocks, rural oriented companies would get a huge boost. So I would say this is the pro-poor, pro-rural, pro-middle class budget, and hence to me that the rating that I gave of 9.5 ultimately comes down to the fact that as a stock market participant, wishing for continuity of this government is probably the single most important demand, and that the budget has strengthened the belief that the Modi-led BJP government has reasonably improved its chances of coming back to the power through these statements made in the budget. Thank you very much. Wish you happy investing.